Welcome to the Parkland Report. My name is Seamus Riley. Joining me in this program, Ellen Schmidt, Executive Director of the Parkland College Foundation. Welcome to the Parkland Report.
Thank you.
How long have you been here at Parkland College?
Just a little over 2 years, Seamus. I'm kind of a newbie.
So tell me a little bit about the Parkland College Foundation and the work that it does.
Well, we've been around since 1969, and we're essentially the fundraising arm for the college. We help the college essentially through scholarships, but we also secure naming rights for facilities or classrooms. We also secure sponsorships, and we work with the different units around college to see what their needs are and how we can better help.
So is Parkland College an easy thing to go and ask for support for?
Parkland is very popular, and there's a lot of positive feedback I get when I go out and visit with donors and just community members in general. It's amazing the stories that people have who have taken a class at Parkland, or one of their family members has come to Parkland. So it's a well-known entity, and it's very popular, and I think people really buy into that community college concept.
I know that the foundation was started almost about the same time as the college, very shortly thereafter. Mm-hmm. And you identified, I think early on, the foundation identified scholarships and supporting students as they went to the community college system. Mm-hmm. What were some of the first kinds of scholarships that people were asked to contribute to?
Well, I mean, there's many different kinds of scholarships. So it just really depends on donor intent, and what they're thinking of. Certainly, we offer the opportunity for a donor to have an endowed scholarship. Mm-hmm. And so that's where they would pledge a certain amount of money, and the interest is drawn off that in order to pay scholarships and to help grow the endowment. So we have those. We have a quasi-endowment for people who want an endowment, maybe don't have the funds necessary to start an endowment, but they will work towards that. So they'll pay us money for the endowment every year and also give us an additional gift to pay out a scholarship every year.
How do students find out about scholarships?
Well, all of our scholarships are run through our financial aid office. So all the applications are online through financial aid, and so those are the folks that can kind of help them and gear them in the right direction.
So when people are looking at, say, making a donation to Parkland College, they have a certain amount of latitude, and like they can make a donation to, say, for example, a program that they have a particular affinity for, or they were a part of, or an industry that they worked in. So talk about some of the major industry partners and supporters that we have.
Well, healthcare is really huge here for us here at Parkland, and we have very good partnerships with our healthcare providers in this community through program support, through scholarships, through funding a faculty member. So that's probably our biggest one, really. Trying to think of some of our others. We have our automotive program is wildly successful here, and so we have a lot of automotive partners.
So in the health profession, so for example, we provide scholarships for nursing students that go through the program and recognition of their achievements, and often named after former faculty and folks who have an affinity for it. How does that help students, attract students to our health professions programs?
Well, every program has their own nuances, and in health professions there are a lot of fees attached to those scholarships, and so anytime you can help ease the burden for a student, and our donors, what we like to do is talk with our donors and find out, say they want to do a nursing scholarship. She wants to have someone maybe who has like a certain grade point average, or in some direct program here at Parkland College. And so, we do offer that opportunity for our donors to put criteria on scholarships. I always like to say the more restrictive that we make a scholarship, the harder it is to give away. Sure. So we don't really want to get into that. But I really do like to listen to a donor, find out what their intent is, and really kind of go with that.
We also are a very large district. We cover parts of 12 counties in the state. But it allows for donors to sort of identify, to support students from the part of the district that they themselves are from or have a connection to. Right,
and that is why our outreach is so important, to talk with folks in different communities, because really we know about 87% of our students who go to Parkland College stay in District 505, and so, and like I said, people want to help this community, and so it's very popular.
One of the really great things about the foundation and the work that it does in reaching out to sponsors and donors is that it really helps to completely revitalize and re-energize the economy, right? Because many of our students are going straight into the workforce and, like you say, remaining in the district.
Well, many of our students are gainfully employed before they finish their programs, and so that's really a huge benefit, really, for our companies in our communities and also for Parkland College. So that's worked very well.
So you mentioned about the corporate sort of level of scholarship in terms of supporting, in addition to scholarships, but supporting sort of sponsoring faculty and also even sponsoring buildings. I'm thinking in particular about some of the major scholarships on the agriculture side and also on healthcare. That's a great advantage for Parkland to be able to leverage some of that support.
Well, it's a win-win situation, really. Like I said, for both a hospital who is looking for those healthcare providers, or even in the ag industry. They want to support us, and they want to be able to help their students be able to afford their education. So it's a great partnership.
Some of the kind of corporate sort of agreements we have with name brand pieces or other organizations that come on and work with our students on campus also help to elevate the college and also maybe probably help you a little bit as you go out and talk to future sponsors. You can point to, say, hey, we got some major corporate sponsorship here on campus, or here are some other ways in which corporate partners or industry partners are working to support our college. Maybe sort of give them an idea about ways they could contribute.
Well, and competing partners in the industry are, they're naturally competitive anyway. So when they find out that someone else is, really, and the different ways that we're able to help our students, they're looking for a way to be able to help our students as well. And so that's really, it works for everybody, really.
We're also sort of unusual, I think, at Parkland College in that we have benefited from the generosity of people who've made significant contributions in terms of sort of physical additions. I'm thinking of the Tony Knoll Center, additions to the greenhouse. That's maybe not unusual completely for four-year schools, but it's not as common as you might think in the community college system.
Well, we have many opportunities for naming rights here at Parkland College, but we do have, it's been really nice in the community college world. I think people are starting to embrace that more. I think that community colleges are getting better about putting that word out and how they can put your name on a building. How can you, it's like just recently the Harold and Jean Minor Theater here at Parkland College. Well, the theater's been here for a very long time, and we had a gentleman who wanted to honor his parents, and so through his mother's love of the arts, he decided he wanted to name our theater. And so, it was like listening to the donor, finding out what they wanted to do, and being able to put their name on that.
And I know for our faculty and staff, I know that the foundation works with the faculty and staff. A lot of us who've been here now for quite a while are committed to helping and to giving back, to sort of recognize the benefit that Parkland has that they've gained from being a member here of the community. And that's a nice testament to the community sort of spirit.
Well, and it's really nice, too, when we have our employees at the college. They're very philanthropic, and many of them want to help the students in their own areas. And so what we'll find is sometimes folks will, here internally, will have a scholarship to help some student in their own area. So it's really been a really great thing to kind of put that word out there. We have faculty scholarships, and I think that's something people really buy into.
I know that one of the things that you've been primarily working with, developing and expanding, is our Alumni Network. It's a little more difficult in a community college because our students are with us for a short time, and generally they're maybe going in as a beginning member of a career program, a workforce. Sometimes they're transferring to a four-year school. We sort of lose track of them a little bit for a while, and then they resurface. But I think one of the things that you've been stressing is the importance of developing and cultivating that alumni network, because really our students do fantastically well once they leave us.
It's amazing, the stories of our alums. And I think getting people to wrap themselves around the fact that they are a Parkland alum. Many students come in and take a couple classes, to kind of help them complete their degree early, and they don't necessarily see themselves as alums. So part of what we do is we're trying to put the charge out there that, yes, it's not just getting a degree at Parkland College, although that's really a wonderful thing, but we really consider anybody an alum who takes a class here at Parkland College in order to further their education and put them on that career path. But there are many stories out there, and as we go through the district and talk to folks, it's amazing the compelling stories that we have of our alumni in our communities.
I know that when you go to a public event, when I go to a public event, invariably somebody will say, oh yeah, Parkland, I went there, my children went there, my parents went there. Talk to me a little bit about the impact that you see on an everyday sort of basis of the role of the college in the community?
Well, I think we see that in our scholarship reception here. I am really happy that I don't have to pick scholarship recipients, because that to me would be an amazing job, and that's handled through our financial aid office. And we have a committee who picks those scholarships. But there are just so many compelling stories, and they share those with us in the foundation, and we're able to use those in our marketing efforts as well. And so I just think it's just amazing how many compelling stories are out there, and people want to share those stories all the time. I mean, really, it's when I run into somebody who's taken a class, or their child's in school here, or their sister graduated, they want to share those stories.
I know that one of the things that you have done recently, which has been very impactful for everybody, has been to pair those students with the donors, so the donors get to know the students and sort of get to introduce themselves and learn a little bit about the recipient of the scholarship.
Well, it really helps us because, the donor wants to see the impact of their gift. And the best way we can do that is to bring them together at that scholarship reception. We have our students, we ask them to write thank you notes to their donors as well, and so that's helpful. But really, there's nothing better than bringing together a donor and a student. Students are so thankful, grateful for every opportunity that they have, and the donors, it's just a feel good for them.
And I think for the student, it sort of creates an expectation that, hey, this is how the world works, right? Mm-hmm. You make a contribution and you help somebody out, and it's sort of a cyclical thing, and we're all better off because of things that people have done in the past to help.
Well, and you'll hear students who had received a scholarship will turn around, and as they move on in their career, they'll turn around and they'll want to do a scholarship for a deserving student too. So that's really nice to see that cycle happen.
We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we're going to talk a little bit about Parkland's 50-year history and some of the activities that are going on this academic year.
In the very beginning, it was very different because we had a 3-room office in downtown Urbana. A lot of people don't remember that. It was called the Empire Building. And I started in October 24th of 1966, and Dr. Starkle had been hired as the president. It was just amazing how quickly he and the Board of Trustees, of course, identified members for the administration and just got things rolling.
Some of my best memories, and I think some of the most essential years for Parkland, were those early years when we were all teaching in every nook and cranny downtown, and we were put together in office spaces wherever you could find a space. There would be a little bullpen office. And 4 or 5 of us from various disciplines would be together. But it turned out that those years spent mixing the way we did, informally and sort of by necessity. We developed friendships and a kind of collegiality that we would never have done without that.
Dick Karch, who was assistant dean, was handling financial aid as one of the miscellaneous duties. Well, he would come into my office at UOBI. I was working at UOBI in the financial aid office, and said, "Ken, how do you solve these problems?" And so one day I said to him, jokingly, "If you ever have want to hire a financial aid person, why don't you recommend me?" And he mumbled something that, well, it happened that in 1970 they decided to have financial aid.
What stands out in my mind the most are the memories of commencement. We have helped thousands of students experience one of the greatest moments of their lives, graduation, an accomplishment that they worked dearly for. The joy and pride we saw on their faces, as well as their parents, friends, spouses, children, was a source of pride for all of us, faculty and staff. We had reason to celebrate. It was a beginning, a new future that we could feel we had a little piece of helping them fulfill.
One summer, we had students help with a research project for the college, and so it was a methods of social research class, and the students actually participated in a survey of district employers. I was so happy to discover that the students were really enjoying it. They learned the methods of social research, they learned about survey design, they learned about the problems of administering a survey, and they really tackled even some of the statistical analysis. The students learned so much and were so fired up by the process that stands out in my mind as one of the most enjoyable times I spent with students at Parkland.
Whenever I think of Parkland College, I think of opportunity. I was a participant in student government, student ambassadors, and Phi Theta Kappa. Those were just some of the organizations. I was able to go on different trainings, participate, meet new people, travel a little bit, and connect between the students and the faculty and staff.
When I first met with President Tom Ramage, I told him that I wanted student government to be an integral part of institutional culture. And he kind of looked at me and he asked, what's that look like to you? And that question was very provoking. I guess I didn't really know what it looked like at the time. I had to go back, I had to really think about it, work with our team, and we came up with a real vision for student government. And that vision is what we took forward. And I still apply that to my life today. The ability to create a vision and move forward with it is something that President Ramage probably doesn't know that he instilled in me, but he did.
I took an interest in the respiratory care program, and I went ahead and applied, and fortunately I was accepted. Work in student life as well. I work alongside faculty and staff, which is one of the great experiences that I've had here at Parkland.
I enjoy the student involvement that I participate in, being in student government, being part of Club Latino, Parkland Scholars. The people here are really friendly. It's a family environment to me.
Oh, welcome back to the Parkland Report. Joining me, Ellen Schmidt, Executive Director of the Parkland College Foundation. We're going to talk a little bit about this year, this academic year, which is Parkland's 50th anniversary, and I'm sure for some people they can hardly believe it. Parkland College is very, very lucky in that some of the people who were here on day one of the college are still in our community and were able to participate. Talk to me a little bit about how you went about thinking about how you would structure a year-long celebration of the college.
Well, it's been very exciting. I had never really planned something like this before, but it's really wonderful to have an anniversary to wrap all of your events around. And that's essentially what we did here at Parkland College. We didn't necessarily have some grandiose gala. We did have a gala. We wrapped it around our regular events, and so it was really, really great. How did we decide? I think we all sat in a room, Seamus, and just kind of punched it out, really. And how could we touch a lot of folks in District 505, which we did this past summer by going out into the district, and we're continuing that. We finished this weekend, and find out where those our supporters are, find out where our alumni are. Going through the district was wonderful. We just had our 50th anniversary gala. We've been able to reconnect with folks who have been faculty and staff here, retirees. And so it's been a wonderful time here for Parkland College, really.
So we had a little show and tell, right? I mean, in some of the events in the community, and we went into all of the summer events and the various different celebrations that some of the surrounding communities have throughout the summer, and 4th of July parades and so on. But we had a special giveaway, we had a special prize for people, and that was a kind of a really interesting giveaway, right?
It was. It was a 1966 Ford Mustang. And one of the ideas from our alumni committee, we had been meeting and we were talking about the 50th anniversary, and one of our members, Mark Palafis, had said, wouldn't it be great if we had a 1966 Mustang and we could take this car that's 50 years old and take it around the community and sell raffle tickets and have that be the culmination on the evening of the gala. And I thought it was a really great idea, and so did the whole committee. So we talked more about it, and actually Ford City and Champaign ended up donating that car for us. Charlie Chapin, who's on our foundation board, they donated to us, so all of the raffle sales were profit for us. But we took that car all through the district and showing that off, and got people really excited about buying tickets and everything. And then, like I said, we a couple weeks ago we picked the winner for the car.
So we actually gave out the gala. The date of the gala actually corresponded to the exact 50th anniversary of the day the car was stamped, right?
And it was just, we didn't pick it that way. I didn't know until after we had gotten the specs on the car about the day. It tells you what day the car was built, and it was the same day, August 20th, 50 years ago, to the day of our gala.
So perfect. Very nice.
It really was very,
nice.
it was
Very
perfect.
symbolic. And did we have an alumnus win?
We did. Susan Jepson from Champaign. She is a proud Parkland alum. And I think the other nice thing about that was she actually was in attendance that evening.
Very good.
We sold those tickets throughout the district, so we had no idea how that would turn out, but it was really fun when they pulled her name. And actually, Rachel Schrader, who was the first employee of Parkland College, actually picked the winning ticket. So she actually picked the ticket and handed it off to our MC, Jennifer Roscoe, and she called Susan's name out, and I think Susan screamed and had to put her shoes on and run up to the stage.
So like I said, it was a perfect sort of like connection from the
Yes.
very first person employed. We actually employed the assistant to the president before we hired the president. So the very first person. One of the other things that was interesting, I know that you had lots of displays around the gala event of the decades of Parkland history. A lot of people know now because we've been talking about it, but a lot of people might not have known that Parkland College really began in the district, right? It began in downtown Champaign-Urbana.
Downtown Champaign. Various buildings around downtown Champaign, but yes, it is amazing the pictures that people actually gave to us about some of those buildings downtown. But yes, it did start downtown.
I know in the timeline it was really interesting to sort of see the march of progress in terms of Parkland, both in terms of not really even having an actual home to moving to this campus that we're on right now, and then the significant expansion of the campus. I know that has been something that has been both something the foundation has been a part of, sort of getting support for, and like you said, looking for naming rights, but also has been an opportunity for the foundation to reintroduce the community to Parkland College, and I think that's been a powerful moment for the college.
I think the Student Union is an amazing place. I'm a Parkland alum, and I remember when I went to school here, we were down in the Flag Lounge, and we were in various parts of the campus and everything, but there was not that one central place where you went for all of your services, your student services and, admissions. And so anyway, it's really nice now that we have this wonderful building, and we were able to have the gala there, and we continue to bring groups in here, to enjoy the space and just kind of see how much we've grown.
So the event, like the gala, like the 50-year celebration, allows you to begin to sort of seed some ideas to prepare for the next 50 years. So talk a little bit about how you've sort of began to leverage this anniversary as a way to get people to think about, continuing the great tradition here at Parkland.
Well, one of the other initiatives, we have two other initiatives, and one is we decided we would try to go after 50 scholarships this year. Back in fiscal year 15, we had about nearly 400 scholarship applications. And last year, we had over 1,000. So you see the need has really grown. And so we thought, what if we tried to get 50 new scholarships, which is a large goal to have. And so that's what we've done this year. We're getting together 50 new scholarships. We're a little over halfway there, which is really good because we're just about halfway through our anniversary. And so that's one way we're leveraging for the next 50 years. We want to be able to support those students, as they continue to come to Parkland College. The other way we're doing that is with our 50 notable alums. And so this has been a really great thing in order to find the folks that have come to Parkland College and help them to identify that they really are Parkland alums. So we're just seeking stories. We take them through our website of anybody's a notable alum. Everybody has a story. And we have an advisory committee who sits down and looks at all the submissions, and then they kind of make those determinations on who those 50 alums are. And we're just about halfway through that process as well. We've been pushing them out on social media, in the newspaper. I know that the radio stations are running some bios on them as well, and so they're getting some really good exposure. We need to build our alumni base, and it's been a really great thing to help that happen.
I was going to say, like, one of the difficulties is in sort of remembering who was here, or if a person was connected with an alum and they leave, then sort of we lose that connection with it. Has the publicity and the media focus on the college over the 50th anniversary helped to generate inquiries and people calling back in saying, hey, I was an alum and I remember having a great opportunity at Parkland College, and you know, reintroducing themselves to the college?
It has, and you know, we put that out on LinkedIn and on Facebook and everything like that, so that people, as they start to see this, they want to tell their stories. And so it's really been our alumni have really grown through this initiative, and it's really going to be good to have a strong alumni program moving forward.
One of the things that I think is a concern for everybody in higher education in the state right now is the sort of overall uncertainty around the budgeting. Has this added a little bit extra incentive for people in the community who say, you know what, I went to Parkland College, it helped me, I believe in it as a way to give people a start and sustain and grow our economy and our community, and have sort of incentivized people to sort of say, hey, you know, let me get involved here?
I think it really has. I mean, they really want Parkland to succeed, and they want our students to succeed. And so I really think that you know, unfortunately on that part of it, it's been a struggle, you know, for the college. But on the other hand, it has made people want to really reach out and say, how can I help?
Tell me a little bit about your own experience. I mean, you're an alum of the college, and you've come back to work here now, and you've been here and experiencing lots of things and change and growth in the buildings and so on. Tell me a little bit about how you personally are impacted by the stories and the people that you meet now as a member in charge of the foundation.
Well, it makes me feel really good about what we do in the foundation. It makes me feel really good about trying to hook up donors with students, getting those stories out, having people tell those stories, because it just makes it reinforces what we do, and it's been really good for us.
And have you found also that it helps you to direct a little bit where you might need to go with the college, or what programs might be available for support, given the conversations that you're having with them?
Well, I always like to go with donor intent. Unless we have a project that really needs some attention, and then as you know people in the community, you can figure out who you need to contact to say, hey, listen, this is what we have going on, and this really pertains to what you're doing in your business, and how can we kind of better partnership. So, but the donor intent thing is really huge, and listening to a donor and finding out what their passion is and how they want to help, and then you can direct it. It makes it much more meaningful for them.
And for our current students who are here, has this helped a little bit to sort of solidify for them that they are part of something that's an institution of great standing in the community, and maybe the time to contribute is sooner rather than later as they begin on their own professional career journeys, and maybe get involved right away instead of waiting to be asked?
Right. Well, and I think we've done that through our alumni. We want to know who they are. We want to keep in contact with them. We don't want to wait for 20 years to hear about what they're doing. We want to know about their journey. I think the 50th anniversary has been great for our students. Having the kickoff here on campus, and actually for our office being on campus now, I love being around the energy of the students here, and they're all going in different directions, doing different things, but I get to see it firsthand, so that's been really nice. But I think like the 50th anniversary has been really great for our students too. I think it's got them really excited, and I hope that translates into, and we talked about that with some of our scholarship recipients. They'll say, gosh, this is such a great opportunity for me, and I can't even tell you how much I appreciate it. And they always talk about, when I'm on my own, and when I'm making my way, I won't forget, the folks that helped me. So that's good stuff.
Well, I think it's just a perfect way to think about why we're all here, and that is to help ensure student success.
Right.
So thanks so much for all you do, and thanks so much for being here in the Parkland Report today.
Thank you, Seamus.
That's it for this edition of Parkland Report. We'll see you back here next time.